With the beautiful Puget Sound just to our west, you get a look inside CenturyLink Field here in Seattle. Tonight, it's the NFC's turn to take center stage as we've got a wild card matchup on tap between the New Orleans Saints and the Seattle Seahawks. Winner go home is the mantra, and off we go. We're underway in this NFC wild card game. This fielded at the 2. They'll bring it back to just about the 25, call it the 24-yard line.
Let's go.
On 1st and 10, it's Wilson. Buying time to his left. And he gets this up just shy of the 30 to the 29 before he's out of bounds. He'll get 5 out of the scramble. It's 2nd down.
You know, I don't think this is the last time we'll see that in this game. This guy has mobility, and they want to use his legs in the game plan. So there will be designed runs as well as his scrambles.
Zebra. Let's go, 14, running.
They'll run it now out of the gun. And able to stay on his feet past the 30 to about the 33-yard line. Call it a gain of 4 there, so it sets up a big play here. 3rd and a yard.
There we go, D. That's the way to hit. Fourteen. Hey.
Out of the gun, here's Wilson. And he's going to find his man out of the backfield. That's complete. And they get 10 yards there and convert on 3rd.
I know most of the time when the ball's in the air, you're thinking wide receiver, tight end, but running backs, they can be a big part of any passing offense nowadays.
They snap it at 1. Now Wilson. And an alley to run. And he will avoid the contact as he slides to a stop. He'll wind up getting 9 after tucking it and running, so it'll leave him with 2nd and a yard.
I think the last 2 plays really illustrate how difficult it is to game plan against this guy because you know he can throw the football, but how about his use of legs as well? What we call those broken plays, you can't account for them.
Yeah, those plays, those 2 that you just mentioned, a microcosm really of how he can hurt you.
Tempo, baby, let's go to work, come on.
And they'll go on the ground. He's got the lane, and there he goes. And all the way in, touchdown Seattle. A big play there, 48 yards. And the Seahawks have taken a first-quarter lead. A good hold in these wet conditions. The point after is up and good. And it's now a 7-0 game. Out is the kickoff unit as they run up and send this one away. And this will be a touchback as that sails over the end line. They'll run it for the first time with Alvin Kamara. And he'll fight forward to about the 27-yard line. In on the stop, it was the UCF product, Shaquem Griffin.
Well, we saw him there trying to get it to the outside, trying to get to the perimeter, but not a whole lot of room there. But there's got to be one positive to that. If you keep moving laterally, creases tend to develop as the game moves on, and they can run it back inside later.
They'll break the huddle, come up on 2nd and 8 at the 27-yard line.
All right, now, lucky 56. Lucky 56.
He'll look to throw. Forced out to his left. And he'll get to the 29-yard line, brought down there. He'll wind up with positive yardage. It's a gain of 3, but now it's 3rd down. He'll look to throw. On the check down, he finds Kamara. And he'll be brought down right at the 30 here. It'll be a pickup of only a yard, and that'll bring up 4th down.
Detroit! Detroit!
They're going to try and throw. Thomas has got it, complete. And he's got the first down, yardage before being taken down at midfield. A big pickup there, 20 yards as they convert on 4th.
No, check, Patriot! Patriot! Gone! All right, now, lucky 56. Lucky 56. Detroit! Detroit!
They'll run on 1st down. Adams. And good penetration here. He'll get this down only to about the 49-yard line. Credit him with a 1-yard gain there to make it 2nd and 9.
Detroit! Detroit! Leopard! Leopard!
They stay on the ground. This time it's Kamara. And able to push his way forward here for a good little gain. 6 yards on the pickup, and all of a sudden here it's 3rd down.
A quick burst there, and he nicely bit off a pretty decent gain.
Here's Kamara trying to run for it. And he's going to be taken down right at the line. No gain there on the play, and that's going to leave him with a 4th down.
On that play, it was the defensive front that won the battle. They out-leveraged the offensive line, got into the backfield, and held him to no gain.
Leopard! Leopard! All right, now, lucky 56. Lucky 56.
Now flags will come in. I think this one's going to be on the defense for jumping. A free 5 yards as the defense jumps.
I know it's an anticipation game for them, but it's also a reaction game, and they reacted poorly on that one.
Now it's 1st and 10 after a costly penalty there on 4th down. Now Adams. And nothing doing. He's immediately taken down at the line of scrimmage. Making the stop that time, Bobby Wagner.
He has elite instincts from his linebacker spot. He's able to diagnose the run and flies in like a missile to stop that one behind the line of scrimmage.
Watch him now, Barney. Barney. Watch him now, Barney. Barney. Detroit! Detroit! All right, now, lucky 56. Lucky 56.
Now he'll look to throw here on 2nd and 10. Over the middle to Smith. And he'll go down at the 28. They'll get 9 there as that sets him up better for 3rd down.
Fired that one in there, able to make connection on a nice in route.
With those faster passes and they're going that fast, any hesitation as a quarterback that the deflection, if you miss, might be bigger and lead to an interception?
Yeah, and the deflection works both ways. Maybe a defender gets a hand in the way and it pops in the air. And sometimes you throw it so hard your receiver can't handle it, and he pops it up in the air for the defenders to grab as well.
But a moot point there as they were able to connect. Ninth play coming up here on this drive. This is 3rd and a yard.
Gun, gun! Gun, gun! Gun, gun! Gun, gun!
Now a handoff. Here's Kamara. Call it no gain that time, and they're going to be left looking up at a 4th and 1.
I know that speed is the hallmark of today's NFL game, but the key to good rushing defense is still having your linebackers set the edge.
Now Lutz for the field goal try. From the right hash, this from 45 yards away. And Lutz puts this one through. And they are on the board, but still trailing. It's 7-3. So the field goal there caps what winds up to be an 11-play drive.
Well, partner, that's a lot of offense to run there to only get 3 points. So I just wonder, are they going to recycle those plays because they were successful in getting 3? Or do you go to another section of the playbook trying to find ones that get you into the end zone, get you 6?
The Seahawks offense now, they get set to go back to work. They had the touchdown on the opening drive of the ball game. It was countered by just a field goal. So, hey, if your guys can do that for 4 quarters, you're in good shape.
Yeah, it is a team game, so that's just good complimentary football. But, you know, I know I'm no brainiac, but you trade 6s for 3s, things are going to work out in your favor.
Throwing now, Wilson on 1st down. They're looking for his tight end on the corner. It's complete. Give him 30 yards there.
There will always be a place for methodically marching the ball downfield. But when you can pick it up in big chunks and strike like that, have explosive plays, that's often the difference in winning and losing. Those types of plays that can knock a defense off balance, that'll drive a team towards a victory.
And they'll go with the ground attack here. And he's going to be met at about the 43. Trey Hendrickson, the one who gets him on the ground.
They tried a quick hitter inside, but that one was swallowed up because what they're hoping, those big defensive linemen will take the bait and move laterally and open up a crease that they can run through. Didn't happen on that play.
And they'll run it here. And he's going to fight his way forward here for a modest gain. Give him 6 on the play, and that'll bring up a 3rd down.
Frustrating for a defense, energizing for an offense. Finding a way to create that type of yardage in your running game, that'll make the guys carrying the ball very, very happy.
So 3rd and 2, this quite possibly 4-down territory, though, if they're stopped.
14.
From the shotgun, Wilson. This is intercepted. Picked up by Ken Crawley. And the possession is theirs at their own 43-yard line. Well, and I saw the pressure coming at him. That just looked problematic. Hit him as he threw it, and the interception ensued.
Let me pay homage to the man who stood in this spot before. He always talked about how much pressure is in the face of a guy, and can he step into a throw. And when you can't do that, oftentimes interceptions result.
They've got good starting field position as they come up here 1st and 10.
Watch him now, Barney!
They begin on the ground with Kamara. And he'll take this one up close to about the 45. 2 yards on the carry there. It'll be 2nd down.
What an advantage having an elite guy in the middle of the defensive line, because not only does he take up the space and let the linebackers run free, but he can also make plays himself, as we just saw there.
Under 4 to go now as the clock runs and they come up on 2nd down.
Detroit!
They'll set up to throw. He'll air it out deep for Thomas. And the defense loses him. It's complete. Touchdown, New Orleans. Michael Thomas, 55 yards. And the Saints are able to strike quickly for 6. As a former DB, you might not like to see that, but from a wide receiver's perspective, those are the plays they dream of.
Correct on both counts, all right? Because once he took off, I mean, let's face it, that should have been done in Big Sky Country. Aren't any speed limits out there? And off he went. Glad I wasn't the one trying to chase him.
And they will not get a chance to return this one as it's through the end zone for a touchback. The Seahawks offense now, they get ready to come back onto the field. A tale of two extremes already in this game. A touchdown pass on their opening drive followed by an interception last time out.
Now, it sounds like things balance out, right? What's that mythological thing that we do? If you have a candy bar, have a diet soda with it, it balances it out. And we know that's not really true, right? Because the interception, that sting lingers a little bit longer. Got to come out now and put together some nice plays.
They go back to the air here after the INT on the last drive. And he's going to have to eat this one as down he goes.
We said it before the game, and I think it's still apparent. If these guys are going to advance in these playoffs, they're going to have to wreak some havoc coming off the edge.
Yeah, wild card round. They told us the wild card could be that defensive pressure. They showed it there. Now Wilson on second down. Now he'll dump it underneath to his running back, complete. And they'll take him down at the 31-yard line. It's a pickup of 12, and that'll set up a third down.
Everyone's got to be able to catch the football. Doesn't matter what position you play, but if you're on offense, be aware a ball may come your way.
The Saints with an extra defensive back here on third on the field.
Could they blitz?
14.
From the gun, it's Wilson. And he's got his man out of the backfield. That's complete. And he'll be taken down, but not before they work it across midfield. And they convert on third with a gain of 22. They don't need to run another play here before the 2-minute warning. Let's see if they do it anyway. 2 minutes to play here in the first half. Back with more NFC playoff action after this.
Power.
They'll run it now out of the gun. And he's going to be met at about the 43. A gain of 3, second down.
What's the old expression, 3 yards in a cloud of dust? In this case, it's dust-covered pellets. It's no longer that old grass that we used to play on, right, and chew it up. Now we've got that artificial surface. You see the pellets go up. Still a nice play by the defense.
14. Bring out. He's checking.
On second down, Wilson. Into heavy traffic, and it's intercepted. Picked off around the 27, and he'll wind up losing 5 yards or so on the return, but no matter, they've got the football back.
So that's back-to-back drives where they've thrown an interception. Ordinarily, we look at the offense and say, what's going on with your scheme? Maybe we should look at the defense and just give them a whole lot of credit. They've got them frustrated right now.
No. Check. Patriot. All right, now, lucky 56.
They start the drive on the ground. Kamara. And he's got it past the 30 before he's hit and dropped.
At this stage of the game, the run-pass numbers are a little bit out of whack because most of the yardage has come through the air. But in a sense, that just sets things up for big runs like that because the defense might be a little bit off balance. They pick up another first down with that run.
From the 32 now, here's 1st and 10. Staying on the ground on first with Kamara. And he finally goes down, but not before reaching the 21. A big play there out of Kamara. 47 yards. So the big play gets him all the way down to the outskirts of the red zone here for 1st and 10.
All right, now, lucky 56. Watch him now, Barney. Gone. All right, now, lucky 56.
On first down, Adams. And he'll take this inside the 20 and down to the 18. Give him 3 on first down. It'll set up a 2nd and 7. And now the Seahawks are going to take a timeout here on defense, as they'll stop it with a little over 30 seconds to go in the first half of play.
Gone. Detroit. All right, now, lucky 56.
On second down, Kamara. And able to push his way forward here for a good little gain. 5 yards on the pickup, and they're going to face a third down.
And there's a run to be happy with. Good, solid yardage. He'll take that anytime you hand the ball to him back.
On third down, here's Kamara. And he gets the first down yardage before he's brought down just outside the 10 at the 11. Now a timeout signaled for, and they'll get it with 10 seconds to go before halftime. All runs on this drive so far. It's 1st and 10. They're going to look to throw. Dancing to his left. And that will be incomplete. 4 ticks left here on the clock. So with 4 seconds to go in the half, here's the field goal unit onto the field. And Lutz's kick is good. And the lead stretches to 6 here. It's 13-7. So they get the 3, increase their lead to close out the half.
Excellent way to end a drive. Go into the locker room with a little bit of extra momentum after adding 3 to their total.
Very short kick. This will be taken by one of the up men. And they'll be set up pretty nicely here as they have it up to the 35-yard line. You want the third quarter already? No problem. Let's do it. So we come upon halftime here in this NFC wildcard matchup. And that'll carry over the back line of the end zone for a touchback. Out come the Saints now. They'll go on offense first here to begin the third quarter. They have the lead. Now they'll be looking for some separation here as we begin the third quarter.
I like the way you term that because now I think they go a little bit deeper into their playbook. They like what they did in the first half. That worked okay. But in order to get the separation that you just talked about, change things up a little bit. Change your tendencies, try and hit them a little bit more with some things they didn't see in the first half.
We'll see if they do just that.
All right, now, lucky 56. Lucky 56. Detroit! Detroit!
They start the second half with Kamara. And he'll take this up near the 35, maybe the 34. 9 yards is the pickup there, and they'll have a 2nd and 1.
First play of the drive, let's give credit all around. Excellent blocking, but the guy carrying the ball, he was the finisher. A really nice run.
Maybe a good spot to take a shot. Here's 2nd and a yard from the 34. They'll look to throw. Throw left side, taken in by Meredith. Touchdown, New Orleans. Cameron Meredith, 66 yards. And the Saints add on to their lead. And correct me if I'm wrong, that was just a simple fly route, wasn't it?
No, there's nothing to correct at all. You've got it down pat. And I just remember as a player, when I'd be in practice sessions and I'd hear 9 from the receivers, that meant fly route, go. Look out. That was the 9, and he just kept going all the way into the end zone for the touchdown.
Detroit! Gun! Detroit!
And we're going to get a timeout here as the play clock was down.